it is leveling up to like my whole body. The first time I felt this is just like, oh my God, my whole body is vibrating. And it was even afterwards, like we were both just lying in bed and my partner had his hand on my body and he just turned around. He's like, you're vibrating. I can feel you vibrating. The whole body was just, and it was literally vibrating for about 15 minutes afterwards. I've never experienced anything like it. And I felt this absolute shooting of energy coming up my spine. And it was, yeah, unbelievable.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of Love, Laughs, and Lessons. We're thrilled to be here with you all. And of course, we have another really interesting guest that we will be introducing momentarily. But just want to say I'm Dr. Frankie Bashan, and I'm here with Denise Rai, my amazing co-host, who will take over.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, welcome. And today we welcome Nina Jarnum, born in Denmark and now flourishing in the Bay Area. Nina is a multifaceted teacher, coach, yoga coach, and registered with Yoga Alliance. Yes. She's a specialist with over 17 years of yoga practice and more than 750 hours of formal education. Nina has trained in the Hatha tradition with Shane Davies, Smart Flow with Annie Carpenter, and continuously expands her knowledge in yoga and movement. She's had the pleasure of teaching a diverse range of clients worldwide, from pro athletes to 75-year-old retirees. Beyond the mat, Nina is an accomplished author and online dating expert. Her book, Fuck Kissing Frogs, is a guide for women in their 40s navigating online dating, harnessing her years of mindfulness practice and self-observation to offer advice on consciousness, healthy dating, and all the things, right? So Nina utilizes her expertise in mindfulness as a mindfulness teacher to help individuals embark on a journey of self-care and authentic connection. Nina advocates for a life filled with love, gratitude, and personal empowerment. So welcome, Nina. We're so excited to have you.
Thank you. I'm so excited to be here. Thank you for having me.
I do want to ask, because I tell you, I love the title. So if you could just speak to the title of the book and why, and then we can just get into everything else.
So I think, the book is very much came about because I divorced in my early 40s and I went probably for the first time really went on the dating market. And I quickly found out that like online dating was like my secret power. And my friends started asking advice. They started asking me to go into their dating profiles and set them up and help picking. And then friends of friends started contacting me. And eventually I got contacted by strangers who's like, I heard that you're really good at this. Can you help me? So talking to my friends, I just eventually, okay, I should write a book on this. That would be much easier. And I did. And it was really just messing around with friends that we kind of came up with the title, Fuck Kissing Frogs, because it really is all about getting a little bit more real going online, not just randomly setting up a profile and randomly swiping on people. Which I just consider a complete waste of time and effort. And it breaks you down mentally, I think, if you go on shitty date after shitty date. So, and that's kind of how the name came about. It's like, fuck kissing the frogs. Just go straight for the gold.
That's right.
I mean, who has time to waste? Seriously.
Right.
Online dating, I think, is difficult enough. And so being able to navigate it. And so I love that. So I really do want to talk about sex. So
Me too.
That's my favorite topic.
Before we hit record, we was just chatting with Nina about like, well, what should we talk about? Because there's so many different areas where there's a tremendous amount of curiosity from us and our listeners. So Nina suggested sex and psychedelics, and I was like, oh hell yeah, both of us.
yeah.
And I, yeah.
Yeah.
So like, where do we even? Yeah.
Yeah.
Where do we
like,
start?
yeah. Like I know about sex. I don't know about psychedelics. So
So I think it's that's actually a very personal journey for me because it has really helped me in my sex life. And when we're talking psychedelics, I'm going to start out with the entry psychedelic of psilocybin mushrooms. Um, and I think, I mean, certainly here in California, I feel like we almost pretend it's legal in California. Am I wrong? I feel everybody's
Sort of
going, yeah. Well, it is actually legal. Like in Oakland,
Yes.
it's legal. There's the church where you can
Yeah.
get it. There's a religious exemption that we all use.
It is a little creepy though. They're like, let me see an ID. They take a photo of you. I've been in there. I've
You know what I'm talking about.
been.
See, we all know about this where we
I
live.
know. Yeah. So that's really, it's true though. It's not actually totally legal or something, but yeah, just about
It's not.
can walk in.
But we tend to forget that it's not. It's a little bit like when weed was in like the medical, you could get the medical weed, and we just kind of all lived as if it was legal.
Right. I've got a card
Exactly.
that belongs to my cousin.
Exactly. It's like my finger hurts, therefore. Anyway, so a few years back, I started, I tried to microdose psilocybin, which was, I actually find it way better than alcohol if I'm going out. So when we're talking about psilocybin, we're not talking about tripping balls, by the way. We're taking it in smaller quantities. I'm going to say somewhere between a microdose and a full trip. So it gives it gives a nice high, and you don't get the hangover the day after, which is lovely. So I think was why a lot of people are using it nowadays instead of alcohol, really. Where I discovered it being really helpfully sexually was completely by pure luck. I'm going to call it luck because when certainly for me, I found when I took this kind of medium dose of psilocybin, you have a couple of hours with like where you kind of got the little high in your head. But what followed after that was kind of a body high, is the only way I can kind of truly describe it. So after a few hours, and it fitted perfectly, me and my partner, we'd, I don't know, go out to a concert, we'd have our little mushroom high, it's all good. We came back and there was this body high, and it really allowed me to truly kind of like surrender myself to not just sex, but my partner. And it really opened up this much deeper level orgasms. I'm going to say I had my first tantric orgasm, not because I was like, we on purpose was practicing like all this tantric sex. We dabble in that. We like to use tantric breathing before we get intimate. We think it's just a wonderful way to like truly connect our body and soul. So we do a little bit of dabbling, but I really think the psilocybins for me just kind of broke everything down and leveled up my orgasm from really moving into like this full body orgasm that I got to say I didn't even know existed. And I think most people actually don't know that they exist. We have our little, as female, as holders of vaginas, we have this idea. It's like the normal orgasm tends to be kind of it's focused around the vagina, the clit, and all that, and then there's a buzzing that goes through the body. But this deeper, like full body orgasm, it is leveling up to like my whole body. The first time I felt this is just like, oh my God, my whole body is vibrating. And it was even afterwards, like we were both just lying in bed and my partner had his hand on my body and he just turned around. He's like, you're vibrating. I can feel you vibrating. The whole body was just, And it was literally vibrating for about 15 minutes afterwards. I've never experienced anything like it. And I felt this absolute shooting of energy coming up my spine. And it was, yeah, unbelievable. And I don't think that would ever happen if it wasn't for that little help of the psilocybins.
There's something about psilocybin allows you to drop into a space that we can't
Yeah.
otherwise access.
Yeah.
It's definitely my experience. And it's awakening, I think. It awakens senses. Like I was looking up when I took it, I was out camping and I looked up at the sky and the vibrance of, and you're camping, so there's no light pollution. It's just dark and you see beautiful, like the sky is lit up. But when you're on psilocybin and you look, it is magnified to a point where you're seeing stars that you wouldn't otherwise see. And it's not a hallucination. It's there. Our ability, I think, ocularly, there must be a shift in the ocular ability, not only the science, but I could see it. I'm looking because you don't lose, right? You're still grounded. It's not like you're tripping. I appreciate that you said that because I don't know that you can trip your balls off on psilocybin.
I think if you take enough, I mean, again, that's never been my thing either. I think if you take enough, you can.
Okay, I've never been there, and I don't ever want to be there because that's scares the shit out of me.
I think I think it depends on who you are. So I have the theory that
Your tolerance.
we either in our bodies or in our brains. And I think the people who tend to live mostly in their brains have much more likely to have hallucinations and all that when taking psychedelics. Whereas people like me, who's very much in my body, it would take an awful lot for me to hallucinate. I think the only time I've ever hallucinated really was acid trip, and that was still very minor.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. But that's a given, right? When you think of acid, you're thinking you're going to hallucinate. That's like a trip. But there is this amazing access that we can get. It's like, it almost feels like you go through a portal. That's how I felt. I'm like, and I'm seeing things a little bit differently, more acutely, more refined, like just more deeply. It gives you insight. So I come out of it, like one of the times that I've done it, with so much, just a deepening of understanding and complexity and curiosity. So it sounds like even in sex, it drops you into whole
100%.
different space.
And I think for me, it's also, I always had like truly letting go of control, and truly allowing myself to fully, like with mind, body, and soul, feel safe enough with somebody, like to truly let go, has always been a struggle for me. And that journey of psychedelics has really helped me with that. It's also helped the fact that I'm in an incredible relationship now, that with a man that truly makes me feel safe in every sense of the word. I had another, I would actually say no, that's not my first, but I had a couple of years ago, I attended the sound ceremony. It's like medicine journey, which is a mixture of you do MDMA and psilocybin. And again, that was also incredibly heart opening for me. And that is also something, it just like it unlocked another portal sexually later. I could feel I was more open after that, and that portal has never closed. By the way, it has truly. It's almost like it's changed my DNA. It changed my heart at this basic like level, like cellular level. That's the word I'm looking for. And I remember the first time after that sound ceremony when I was thinking it was the next day or the day after, and I had sex with my partner, and it was like this. It was this complete heart surrender. I actually am like I ended up like I had tears streaming down my cheeks afterwards, and it wasn't sadness, it wasn't pain, it was just pure emotional release, and that has actually never stopped. I would say at least probably once a month or something like that, we have sex that is so kind of soul beautiful that I will have tears streaming down my cheeks at the end of it. And again, not from anything else, just but pure like love, appreciation, and surrender to the moment. And that is definitely something like that never happened before. And that is something that's just been permanently opened inside of me, which I love.
So you don't actually have to be on psilocybin when you're to get to this ecstatic place, this connective place.
No, it is now. It is like that is part of who I am. It has allowed me to find that place. But now that I found it, it is like, oh yeah, now I know how to access that.
Wow.
So it does sound like like how you described it, like a portal. And once it's opened, it's opened.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Yeah. Yeah, it's incredible.
When it's different. Like for me, in my experience of it, I'm not associating it with sex, but it's more like it gives me access. I go through the portal when I'm on it and I have access to all of this like deeper dimension of understanding of things. It just gets very analytical, like deep. And then I come away with the memory of it that still lingers as I walk through this dimension called life, right? Without being altered. I'm still thinking about it, but you're describing something else. It's like an opening, and you're accessing feeling like that is so much deeper.
Yeah.
Well,
I think because I have found that I have found this. I have found the safe space and the surrender. It helped me into this mode of surrender, and I actually discovered that this was not scary.
Yes.
There's something psychological there that changed for me. Yeah, there was a shift in learning that this could also be a safe place.
So like the psilocybin was a vehicle to having that shift.
Yeah.
Have you, Dr. Frankie, have you had sex using it?
No.
No. Okay.
But she is now.
Well, I'm just, she's like, I won't now. So I'm just wondering, right? Because for you, it was like more seeing, more mental, and that was heightened. And for you, it was more feeling. And so that was heightened. So I wonder,
I think it's like anything, right? You go in, it's who you're around. It's like setting. It's your vibe going into it. It's like a journey that you go on that will be different every time, depending on your environment, your mental state, the vibe.
What you're trying to access. Yeah.
And I also think it's super important who you're with. That how any psychedelics work, it really depends on who are you with and who is your energy, what's your energy with that person. I used to I think the first time I tried MDMA with my partner, my partner had done it before, and he was like, I mean, this is like a connection, like a soul thing. It's not a sex thing. It's like, you can't really have sex on it. It's all kind of, and I'm like, okay. And what happened for me and him was, as soon as that MDMA hit in, like, we were all over each other. It was like every sensory of touching each other just be like, it was the only thing that mattered. The whole world like melted away. We were just like making out for hours, and like people were like, are you breathing? Like, people came up to us like, nah, you guys are on fire. And we went home and we had like, I kid you not, I think we had sex for 8 hours. We were just woo. And the next day he was like, so I didn't think MDMA was a sex thing, but apparently it is. And that is just the thing between me and him. That is the energy we bring, and it has that effect on us. So I think it has a lot to do with who are you with? Is it the right energy for it? For sure.
Yeah.
The other thing too about psilocybin, and I wonder how you're utilizing it, in that you can't do it with too much frequency because it stops having an effect.
Yeah, I agree with that. And it's like that with everything, isn't it? It's all about balance. It is about balance. It's the same with alcohol and sugar really everything in your life. You have to find balance with it. Yeah. And if you're taking it like 3 times a week, yeah, that's it. It's gonna stop. It's gonna stop working for you.
Yeah, the effects
Yeah.
aren't there anymore. So
Yeah.
it's kind of like this magical opportunity that you here and there can dabble in, but yeah, not to take,
Absolutely.
yeah,
Well, I think I mean, but it also makes it so beautiful, isn't it? Because then it's something that you're looking forward to, something special that you can put in your life. If you take it all the time, it's not special anymore, is it? So yeah, it's a little bit like what was that experiment they did with children where they put a piece of candy and it's like, can you sit and wait with eating the candy, and then you get 2 pieces of candy, and they did this whole trajectory of the kids who waited
the delayed
like generally
gratification.
did way better in life, and it is, yeah, delayed gratification. It's this idea of delayed gratification it almost makes it even better, doesn't it? Because then you've been looking forward to it,
Yes. Yeah.
and it, yeah. So absolutely, don't do it all the time.
Yeah. Well, you touched on something I think is really important for us to even like explore further, the idea of surrendering, figuring out how, like, even if you're not altered,
Yeah.
and what makes it so hard? Why is it so hard to surrender?
Well, I think and there's also like true surrender, because there's the difference. I think most of my life I felt like, oh, I'm very open, I'm very kind of, but this true like soul level surrender, I mean, that is scary. That is a scary place to basically take your heart and put into somebody else's hands and be like, here, that's for you to hold. Please don't, please don't stomp on it. Um, and so yeah, allowing yourself to surrender. And I think a lot of us, especially like, I'm going to differentiate a little bit here. There's a surrendering in a relationship between two people and giving your heart to somebody. And there's also the like sexually surrendering to somebody. And I think when people talk about sexually surrendering, that we immediately go into some kind of sub-dumb conversation, which is not, which it isn't. And I actually consider that's like when you're talking about people who are like subs or doms, it is about them seeking surrender, but they're finding proxies for it, because the true surrender is too scary. And I was actually I was talking to somebody who likes to be dominated, and this person is like super powerful in real life. It's the classical, we all know it's super powerful in real life, likes to be dominated in the bedroom, and I was talking to this person about it, and say that, and we're talking about the fact, is it because that we ultimately, I think, as human beings, we always we seek surrender, like whether we know it or not, we seek surrender. And when it's really hard for you to surrender on a soul level, that's when you start reaching out and you start finding the placebos almost. You start looking externally to feel this slight feeling of surrender, and that can be dominated. It can also be a sub, because I think that's a whole, I mean, that can there's also a level of surrender to being dominant. Yeah, I would switch those around. So like there is a surrender part to being dominant just as well as being a sub. And
what is that?
well, I think it is because I think we often think of the sub not being in control, but actually often it is the sub that are somewhat in control of the situation. I mean, we set rules about like a sub-dom relationship. There will be rules around it, and you are allowing ultimately the dominant person. Well, again, because you are too scared to truly surrender to somebody. So, and most dumb sub relationships, there it is about the sub allowing the dom to do that to them, because it makes them feel this slight of surrender, which feels incredible to them. But so there's an organic relationship between those two. But I do think it is seeking externally, trying to seek out something that ultimately what we want is actually, it's inside, it's going deeper. And I think it goes like that with a lot of like experimentation. And I think, I mean, I've been around the block a couple of times. It's like, we should try everything once, shouldn't we? And it wasn't really into like my I am in my late 40s, but kind of late-ish 40s. So this is like after like mid 40s, I'd say, that I started realizing that I was grabbing for external experiences to kind of cover for the fact that I was incapable of truly surrendering to like this true intimacy that sex has the potential of being. So it was all, and once I understood that, it's like, because I felt like, okay, I tried most things by now. Again, I've been around the block. And I was actually thinking, what happens when I fucking tried everything? Then what? What are you going to do then? I mean, what is going to keep it fresh and interesting? And then lo and behold, I discovered that, oh, no. That's this whole internal journey. And once you find that is like, whoa, oh, it's almost like that video game. You found that there was 10 secret levels that you didn't even know about. And
That's
it's
right.
like, oh, okay. I don't even know. That's a lifetime of exploration inwards instead of outwards. The outward stuff is limited. The inwards, that is unlimited.
And that actually is just making me think of meditation. Like we hear about people that find so much like wealth and like just so much insight, knowledge, understanding by sitting quietly and starting that practice. Yeah.
It can be incredibly powerful. Actually, it's not unlike it's not unlike meditation, I would say. I had this for years, despite being a yoga and mindfulness teacher. Meditation did not come naturally to me at all. I was like, okay, mind just going in all kinds of directions. And it wasn't really until I went through my divorce and I had so much stress. And I was like, okay, I need this. I need to sit down for however long, and I need to find that stillness. And I really started being able to sit for longer periods of time. And suddenly I was sitting for half an hour, 40 minutes, an hour. I could sit in meditation, and you suddenly just start to level up. And now I trying to describe my meditation practice as, imagine you're in a dark room and then you basically stick your head into the universe itself. It is like this, the universe is this highway, and you get to stick your head in, and you get to like, everything basically opens up to you. It's like the whole universe is in this highway, and you just get to stick your head into it and have a look in there, which is incredible. And it's a little like that, I would say, with sexuality, once you truly start to go inside and go deeper and figuring that out.
Do you feel like it's all kind of comes together, where the meditation is actually part of how you've been so capable of surrendering and having this amazing orgasmic experience? It's not just the psilocybin, but it's also other facets.
Absolutely. I think so. Absolutely. And also, the right partners. I mean, the breathing, as I said, is like we do this breathing together, connecting our energies before we have sex, which I find is super powerful. I remember the very first time we did it. We take the time. So basically, I mean, with breathing is we sit in front of each other, and we basically we start breathing. I mean, the kind of tantric concept of moving your energy. So the uh, the the person with a vagina breathe as she inhales. She kind of draws the energy through her vagina and out her heart, and the person with the penis inhales through the heart and exhales through the penis. So it creates this circular energy where the man is receiving. I'm giving through my heart, and he receives through his heart, and I receive through my vagina. The penis holder gives through his penis, and so you get that kind of circular energy going. And then, secondly, you keep that breath, but you do eye gazing. So you open your eyes, you look at each other, and which is incredibly powerful. I remember the very first time I did it, it's like my partner just had tears coming down his cheek. He was like, he did not know what had just hit him. And then the last one is I will climb on him. I will sit in his lap with my legs around him, and we will keep breathing just chest against chest. And I mean, by the time we're done, I mean, everybody's ready to go. It's like incredibly powerful. And I mean, we don't do that whole process every time, but we always connect our breath. And I mean, he's always joking. It's like, I cannot believe that simply breathing with you will give me a heart on now. Because it's just how our bodies have just become used to that kind of connection. Just the energetic connection of our breath will, you can feel it.
And you're guiding it because this is something that you know how to do? Is it, or you take turns guiding it? Yeah.
I actually took, so after my first experience with that like psilocybin kind of induced almost tantric orgasm, I was like, what was that? And I started Googling, and I was like, what was that? And I was like, oh, I kind of had a tantric orgasm. And then I started diving into it. So I started reading stuff, and that's kind of like, okay, we need to like, let's try and dive into this, because we've kind of, not on purpose, we just kind of landed there. So this is interesting. Let's dive deeper. So I started reading about it, and it's like, okay, we're going to do this.
Nice. And he's like, I am all in.
It's like, let's go, baby.
So also you found a partner that meets you in this way, that's open.
Yeah. Oh my God. Yes. It's such a difference. I think for, who was it that said it? And it literally, the first time I heard this, Julian Turecki. Do we all know who she is? She's Julian Turecki. She's a counselor, therapist, kind of relationship therapist, coach. She said once, she said, a giver needs to be with a giver. So normally a giver tends to be with a taker, because that's just the dynamic. Like the giver likes to give. The taker likes to take. And then eventually what happens in a relationship with a giver and a taker is the giver at some point has enough and just like, throws everything out and walks away. Which is essentially what happened in my marriage and most other relationships in my life. And what she said is like, a giver needs to be with a giver. But, and that's a huge but, when two givers comes together, it means that they also need to learn how to receive. Absolutely. First time I read that, I was like, oh, shit. I need to learn, and when I met my now partner, we were both givers. And we had a moment that we learned we both needed to learn to receive. And once we learned that, it was like, holy shit, that's a different level. So when two givers get together and they learn to also receive, that becomes incredibly powerful. And that's basically what happened for us. So we are both incredibly generous in bed, and like I absolutely want to please him. He absolutely wants to please me. And it means it's like I mean, we rarely have intercourse without me already having orgasms at least once, and that's how we show up for each other, which is
beautiful and ideal, right? When you think about how many people haven't orgasmed at all. Yeah.
But that's also, I mean, the tantric. I mean, I think it's tantric to say that the woman should have had at least two orgasms before there's any intercourse. That's kind of the tantric principles, and so it's not this idea about like, okay, it's great if she even finishes at some point. It's like, let's move away from that completely. And and then I've talked to my partner about this. It's like both him and I, there's such a difference from, and I never really registered this before, by the way, that when somebody enters you and you have just had an orgasm, that is actually, I mean, the feeling of everything is so heightened and way better. And that's really how it should be. And I think here in the Western world, we need to kind of rethink that one, where it's like intercourse, that is actually secondary to the female orgasm. That needs to happen first.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because what are we taught? It's like you do it simultaneously. It should be, meanwhile.
Right. Yeah.
And it's a goal.
Yeah, it's a goal, right?
It's a goal, exactly. But that's also why. So tantric sex is like the man does not have ejaculation, which is like, I mean, we're not necessarily that. Again, I said we dabble, but full tantric is like the man does not ejaculate because it's about keeping the sexual energy going. It doesn't mean he doesn't orgasm, but he just doesn't ejaculate because the ejaculation is energy leaving the body. And once he ejaculates, it's like we're done, at least for a while.
Mm-hmm.
And tantric is all about like keeping that energy going and going and going. And the female does not lose energy from orgasming. So that should just keep coming and coming and coming.
Mm-hmm.
I wonder why that's different, because it's still a release. They're both. Yeah.
So it's the preservation of the life force for the man.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
So this is a little bit of Ayurveda again.
Yes.
So yeah, which is why they don't ejaculate. It's the preservation of the life force.
Yes. But that also doesn't mean that they don't get that the pleasure. They absolutely will. That just will not be that physical ejaculation.
Which is that like they're not missing out on anything if they
no.
Yeah. If they
No.
No. I think a lot of men, when they hear about this, they're like, oh no, there's not a tantric practitioner, a male tantric practitioner on this planet who would prefer the other way. I've never heard of anyone.
Right.
They're like, once they learned to do what they're doing, it's like, hell yes.
Because it's ongoing, right? There isn't this. It isn't this idea of this one-stop party. Now I need to take a rest until I build up again. You can continue to enjoy and be stimulated and find different ways and different areas of the body that will give you that same amount of pleasure once you've connected the way you've said with your partner. So, which is so beautiful.
Yes, and I think there should be room for both. I mean, Jesus, I mean, sometimes we'll have like super passionate sex and it'll be like 15-20 minutes and that's great, and other times we will be at it for hours, which is also amazing. So I feel there's a time and a place for everything. As I said, it's like I wouldn't call myself a tantric practitioner. We merely dabble, but we take some principles from tantric that I find has really helped me and my partner to deepen our sex life.
Yeah.
So you just like, did you know sort of, were you intentional? Because I know that we started today's podcast on talking about your book and how you help people not waste their time online and get smarter about how they approach. So did you apply these concepts to finding your partner?
Oh, for sure. Absolutely. I think so when I found my partner, I knew I was ready for a relationship. I was ready for a real relationship. I was like, I want emotional intimacy. I knew what I was looking for, but I was also in a place where I was really happy by myself. So I wanted somebody, I didn't need somebody. So I had all the fun in the world dating. It wasn't like I didn't go, and I think it's dangerous when you go on a date with desperation, where it's like, I need somebody. Like you, every person you meet is like, is this my next person? And you're going, please be my next person, please be my next person. And then you lower your own standards. And it's like this cycle of dysfunction. And when you're coming from a place where it's like, I am going to go out and I'm going to meet all these fantastic men. And when the right person comes, the right person comes. And in the meantime, I'm going to have all the fun in the world. So when I was dating, I was dating generally 3 guys at a time. I had like a little rotation. I refer to this as my as my hoe face. I was like owning it. No, I had all the fun in the world, really. I had so much fun, and I went on because I wasn't coming from a place of desperation and need. I was really good at picking my people. I picked good guys. I did not go on bad dates. I mean, they were all fabulous in their own way. And I enjoyed every one of them. Didn't mean they were my next person, but I dated them and I had fun. And if one of them kind of ran out in the sand, I just added another one to the roster. And I was just like,
How
oh,
how many dates did you go on, do you think? Because I think that, and I think it's important to say this, because when people are dating, it is just that, before you find your person, it isn't that it could be the next one, but it also could be the 101 one.
yeah,
It could be
absolutely.
number 102 or, right.
How many? Well, I don't know how many dates I went on. It was more how many people I dated.
People.
I don't actually think, I don't think I went on no, I'm lying. I think I went on maybe either 1 or 2 dates where I was kind of like, I only went on 1 date and it was like, not feeling it. Everybody else, I actually dated for a while. I think and that's one of the traps for online dating is we get so, it's a concept of too much choice. So we go on a date and we immediately find something wrong with them. And then we move on to the next and move on to the next and move on to the next. And the reality is we cannot necessarily know enough about a person to have a real opinion about whether this is your person or not from 1 date. Sometimes we can. I mean, we have this immediate, like, not you. So sometimes you meet somebody and it's like serial killer vibe. No, thank you. Bye. But most people, if you have a pleasant date, I would certainly see that person again. So I had most people I went on several dates with. And then I was like, sometimes I just kind of run out in the sand. I was like, neither of us are enough into this to start kind of sacrificing our time for this. On to the next. It's all good. But yeah, so how many people did I date? I don't know. I mean, it wasn't like an enormous amount. I didn't go out and like date 100 people at all.
But you had multiple dates with some great people.
Oh yes, absolutely. Most people I went on multiple dates with, and we were seeing each other, and it was fun, and I enjoyed it. And then I would go on date with some other people, and we would have fun. And when I met my now partner, it was actually it was because I was dating my 3 people, and they all went traveling over Christmas, and I was home alone. So I was like, I should go. So I went into my profile, and so I was like, went into my profile, went through the people who would like swipe, who clicked on me, and I was like, you.
Let's see. That's it.
Let's see.
That's
You can
worked
take
out well.
Yeah, but it was it was interesting when we met because it was I was very much kind of like, we're just gonna go for a drink. So he invited me for a drink. I've heard his story. He invited me for a drink. He actually made reservations in the restaurant, but he wanted to make sure that I looked like I did on my photos. He had some iffy experiences. So I walk into the bar, and he immediately looked at me and said, "Do you want to grab dinner?" And I'm like, okay. So we grabbed dinner and we were talking all night and basically shut the restaurant down. And I can't remember, I said something. I mean, we talked about everything. And I got into a conversation, I don't know, for some reason, and threw a bottle of wine in. And we like talked about like sex drive. And I said something about it's like, well, like I got a very high sex drive. And he just kind of locked eyes with me. He's like, "Do you want to go out in the parking lot and make out?" And I was like,
say that?
"Yeah," he totally did. And I was like, "Yeah."
I like him already.
Right. And we went out in the parking lot and we made out for 20 minutes. And this is the one thing, he's a great kisser. And we're great at kissing. And we're just making out for 20 minutes. And I was not intending to like go home with him, but it was kind of like, wow, this is really good. And this is also, by the way, it's like there's all these rules. I hear all these rules. Don't go home with somebody on the first date, because don't give the milk away. They don't want to buy the cow. I'm sorry. If somebody doesn't want to see you again after he slept with you for the first time, you guys have not clicked sexually. And now you know, and stop wasting your time. Move on. I hate this idea about females are not allowed to sleep with a man on the first date. If you want to, and by the way, it's only, are you comfortable doing that? Do you feel you want to? Then go for it. I slept on the first night with my ex-husband. We were married for 15 years and have 2 children. It's good. I slept on the first night with my current partner. We've been together for years and we are so happy. And
It doesn't work like that for everybody though, right? So
no, but that's what I'm saying. It is like, right. If it's not, it is not because you slept with him that he does not want to see you again. It is because he slept with you. He didn't feel it. And then you can feel it's like, okay, that really sucks because I just like gave him my body. And then it's okay to be like, I don't want to do that. You do you. But don't stop yourself sleeping with somebody because you don't want to be a slut. You don't want to give them the milk away. Don't do it for those reasons. Do it for the reason that I'm not comfortable giving my body to somebody who might not feel it and not be into me the next day. And that is 100% fair. I've never gone in and like slept with a man on a first date with this idea. It's like, this is my next person. I'm be like, I am into this man. I'm feeling it. I'm going to have sex. If I walk away the next door, if we were not a fit and doesn't work out, I'm not going to walk away feeling ashamed about that. I had a fun night. I'm moving on to the next kind of thing.
You're good. That's right. You're not going to.
So,
yeah.
Exactly. I'm not going to hold on to that. But just understand, it's like there's not a man on this planet who he might think so, but there's not a man on this planet who, if he is with you and he sleeps with you and he's having the night of his life and he's like incredible chemistry and incredible connection, who's going to be like, I really like this one. And we just had amazing chemistry and amazing sex. But I mean, she did sleep with me on the first night, so I'm not going to see her again. That's not reality. It's not. So,
and there are plenty of judgmental people out there, and there are plenty of people that are emotionally unavailable that will hang their hat on judging the shit out of somebody.
Oh, yeah.
Won't truly be the reason why, right?
Exactly.
But they have their own, I say spielkas. They have their own issues that they have not worked through. So I think it's just important. I mean, I appreciate your confidence and like, you're like, look, I'm feeling myself. I feel sexy. I like sex. And I'm going to say yes to this opportunity without any expectation that there's going to be anything that follows up tomorrow.
Yes.
Right? Which is a beautiful thing. But I feel like there are plenty of people that would feel very vulnerable.
Yes. And that's what I'm saying. It's like, know yourself.
Yes.
Know yourself and be honest to yourself.
Yeah.
Which is why it's like, be really honest with yourself. If you can handle it, don't be shamed by society. Don't be shamed by anybody. Go ahead and do you. But if you can't, then don't do it. Like, honor yourself. Honor yourself. Whatever is working for you.
I kind of feel protective over my energy. Like I feel my energy special. And I don't know that I always want to mix my energy with somebody else that I don't know. I may be attracted to them, but I don't know yet their energy.
And I think that is 100% fair. And that is knowing yourself. And knowing it's like that doesn't work for me. So, and I'm much more kind of like, I can give away my energy because for me, it's almost like it is a never ending source, the way I see it. And I don't feel if a sexual encounter is interesting to me, I don't feel it's wasted energy, even though it's like, this is not my next. Nothing is taken from me because I feel it's a given. It's a give and take.
Yeah.
When I feel, I mean, there's so much put on women, what we're supposed to be by society, that we are supposed, for some reason, like our bodies and sex is something that this is a currency in so many ways, that it is so deep in our culture that it is a currency that we hold because traditionally it is the only currency we had. So whether it's prostituting, whether it's marriage, whether it's relationship, whatever it is, we learn that's like, this is where our power is, that this is our currency. And for me personally, I let go of that one. It's like, no, it's not about currency. If I want to feel pleasure with somebody, just like a man can want to feel pleasure with somebody, so can I. And this is not my currency. My currency is my brain. My currency is my wit. My currency is my ability to teach yoga or write a freaking book or whatever it is. That's my currency. It's not my
choice, right? You get
your choice. That's right.
Yes.
The society doesn't get get to dictate your choices.
I think that's my main one. It's like we need to look at what has been culturally imposed on us and what we're actually feeling. And we need to get really real about what we actually feeling and what we want.
Yeah. Well said. Yes. I love it. You're so sex positive, and just like I hope for many that they take something away from today, because we touched on so many really important things.
And now, what a great conversation. I mean, we went all over the place.
Yeah. But I think the theme is to tap in, right? I mean, if you're talking about inner and outer experiences, and just the tapping in and figuring out who you are, what you want, and how you want to express this in this life that we're in. So,
and that's also, I mean, I think that's probably my main message in my book. It's like, really find out what you want. That's the main thing, because you're not going to find your person if you don't really know what you're looking for. So stop looking for what you think you should be looking for and get real.
Yeah. So tell us, how can folks find you?
They can find me. I'm probably easiest to find on Instagram, Nina Jarnum on Instagram. And otherwise, if you simply Google my name, all my website, all my stuff will come up. That's a wonderful thing about having a last name that's super unique that nobody else has. So if you Google Jarnum, Jarnum, I will come up.
Excellent. Good. Thank you so much for joining us today,
Nina.
Thank you so much for having me.
And thanks everyone for tuning in. We'll see you next time. Take care. Kisses, hugs. See you later.